Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to review a time-lapse of a project I did recently for a repeated client. This project is for donations for a charitable event, golf event in particular, and it is hosted on Wix. The goal was to create a redesign of the website and make it more mobile friendly by keeping the general elements of the website and making it look more professional. As you can see, first things first, I start from the top and I started to change the menu and the information architecture. If you notice, in the section below the actual header, this is a logo that it doesn't have like a transparent background, so I decided to download the actual logo, and since I couldn't remove the text within the remove BG, I had to trim the actual logo within Wix. After I updated the header, decided to start working on the hero section and save the copy so I can adjust the copy and change the layout of the hero section, because the copy was the one that the client sent over an email and wanted to keep it the same. But so I decided to go with this text on the left and an image on the right side, where I tried to use firstly the logo of the Wounded Warrior Project organization, but it didn't fit nicely and it was way too strong in a contrast, so I decided to remove it entirely, where they have like a nice background with the golf course and evoke much more information about the charitable event than just a logo. Here I tried my best to organize the layout and still use the original assets that the website had, but in the end I polish up the header, the paragraph and the button, and then move on into the image of the container on the right and remove the image from the column and add a different one. Here I was experimenting with the different types of call to action buttons that I can have on the website, while I was still using the color scheme and the fonts of the website. They were not set in stone, so I went to the text and color theme page and edited there and continue with the following sections so I can seamlessly use the set foundations or the style guide for the website and reuse the settings over and over again later on. After touching up the homepage, I decided to look up the mobile version and arrange the elements on the mobile breakpoint. As you can see, there are some elements that need touching up also on the desktop before they are actually arranged and aligned on mobile version. So I went back and did some touch-ups on the buttons and applied the correct fonts and background colors, as well as the rounding of the buttons and so on and so forth. After the update of the buttons, it was time to update the contact form and make sure that everything has a higher contrast, as well as the social media icon, get in touch, copy and form. I changed some of the copy on the form. I also tried to set up a new email for the form to receive notification whenever somebody submits inquiry or a question. For me, this was one of the hardest parts because the layout of the setting up a new email was changed from previously. And what I needed to do is to create a new role for the recipient and then add it as a content message that was sent to the website. Then I set up the footer and updated the policy pages one by one. After I set up the footer, I needed to go back to the hero section and change the image in the column 2. And I decided to go with one of the top golf locations of a golf course with an amazing sunset. And to create a better contrast and effect, I added the one with a little bit darker brightness. And after that, I did some touch-ups on the other elements, like the header and the line separating the header and the hero section. Then I decided to set up the animations on entry, and this column didn't have any entrance animation and somehow it didn't work for this, so I decided to leave it without any entrance animation and started on working with the header and adjusting the pages names and order. Some pages were also duplicated and leading to the same place, so I removed the redundant ones, copied the call to action button from the hero section and used it on the header as well, and decided to make a ghost button in the hero section so it can have a different contrast with the main stronger primary call to action in the header. So they lead to the same page, they both go to the Nate, but one of them is stronger, one of them is secondary. As I said, the second section I needed to reduce the options to 2, and I decided to keep, and again I noticed that both of the buttons had the primary CTA design, so I changed one of them to be secondary or ghost button and the other one to be primary full background button. Still, the homepage didn't have the desired look that I was looking for. I decided to add another section with another image directly from other campaigns that the Wounded Warrior Foundation was creating for different golf events, and decided to add it with the copy that my client provided, with another box with the informational text about the event plus what the event actually is about, with supporting visual and copy from previous campaigns, like you can see on the left. As I said, there was missing visuals and understanding of what the event is about, and I decided to add a proper gallery and experiment with the layout of the gallery and include different locations of the Top Golf events where people can see where this might be taking place. Thanks to Top Golf and their extensive gallery library, I managed to add some stunning images of golf courses and present the users with options and opportunities for future events if they desire to host fundraisers themselves, and arrange the gallery in a way that it could be easy and accessible to preview on mobile and desktop as well. Since I was updating the website on different days, I needed to publish and save different versions. So I came back to the mobile version after updating the new sections and decided to do a little bit of rearrangement of the elements, make some more white space between certain buttons and elements, also increase the margin and padding between sections, and of course make sure that the text is centered and easy to read. I also made sure that I make space for the visuals and galleries and other elements that were later on added, especially the gallery with the Top Golf venues, because let's be honest, on desktop everything was looking great, but once you go on mobile sometimes it gets very crushed by the smaller breakpoint, so I needed to adjust that later on. After setting up the events details or the homepage of this fundraiser, it was time to add and adjust the layout of the other pages like Golf With Us and Sponsor Us. In these pages, it was important to make sure that the forms were the main and center attention to the user, because based on them filling out the forms, they would be able to participate in the fundraiser, or on the other page where it's Sponsor Us, they would be able to participate as a sponsor. Here I was playing with the sections and the event information. I was wondering, should it be on the top or on the bottom, and I for sure knew that the main hero section wouldn't be the image with the text saved as an image, because that is a bad SEO practice, and I needed to add the copy separately into the hero section so it can be read by Google and other search engines. So I also shortened the text so it can be easy to scan, made sure I added enough white space, and instead of adding a call to action button, I added actionable sentence in the end. As a formatting step, I also bolded the last sentence, which was registrations are now open, and that sentence would nudge the users to check out the form peeking beneath the hero section that says event registration form. This event registration form was provided by my client that was created with a third-party form builder and later on implemented as an embedded HTML. That's why it has like a completely different design, and probably to be synchronized with our color scheme, it needs to be adjusted within that third-party platform. And I didn't mess with the form that much, but in the future we might add some additional details. And here, after I changed the hero section, I made sure that it is responsible on mobile as well, and made the event information section below under the registration form even more readable and pleasing. I decided to replace the images of the logo with the new logo, and of course also keep this time proud supporter Wounded Warriors project, so it is clear that we are helping organize event for that specific organization. Then I moved to the sponsor event page, where I decided to add another hero section style, where it would tell a bit more about what it comes with becoming a sponsor for this event. There was a very important information and it was a little bit text heavy, so I decided to break down the information into 2 paragraphs and add one on the left and one on the right by highlighting the most important information from this paragraph, which it was the donation of $500 and what it comes with that. Of course, whenever I would finish with the desktop version, I would go to the mobile version and adjust the layout on the mobile version as well. As you can see, in Wix we have only desktop and mobile version, where in Wix Studio we usually have the middle breakpoint, which is the tablet. So this made the progress of this project quite fast, and the focus, it was mainly on the mobile and desktop. And since it started with the idea to be one landing page and supporting 2 other pages, I decided to focus on the main page the most, where it would grab the attention of the users and would lead them to the domain and register pages later on. Currently, we're also working on a donation button integration with Stripe, where the donations will go straight to the organizer. And now one of my favorite parts of every web design project is the back-end SEO in Wix, in Wix Studio. Here I'm adding key words that are associated with the website, so Google and other search engines can find the website easily related to what this event is going to be about. I'm also filling in the short description of each page and how it will show up in the Google results with the title and the description. This checklist here on Wix is also very useful to let you know which images have descriptive alternative text or generic name. I also like the checklist because it shows me which pages are linked together and if they make sense, if they are needed. And based on that checklist, I actually saw that there were lots of unnecessary pages generated probably during the initial setup of the website, either with some prompts or maybe with a template that my client used at the time. So based on that checklist, I managed to delete most of the unnecessary apps and pages as well as information. After the cleanup, I also started to generate the rest of the other utility pages like privacy policy and terms and conditions. And after the setup of the utility pages, it was time to link them to the footer and make connections to the actual utility pages and do a final overview of the website. One only thing that I missed to film and record while I was doing this redesign was the adding of a little snippet of code on how to implement this progress bar of the donations, which is being updated manually on the homepage. But it was fairly easy, so it took literally 5 minutes and I didn't remember to press record, but it's quite easy. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to do that recording. And that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. If you find this time-lapse useful, make sure to leave a comment, like and subscribe for more. Bye bye!